What's going on, guys? BLAZIN here, and welcome back to another episode of the Knights of Teleria. And thank you for joining us. We have a fun and exciting show prepped for you guys today. And I cannot do this show without all of my co-hosts. First, to my right, we have Mr. JR Star 3 sporting that Justice for UDK. Mr. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Just been, trying to get, like I said last week, trying to focus more on Live Arena, doing this Fragment Summon Timid the Fool, and just, keep grinding.
Nice. Next to you, we have the, all the way from, Never Eat Soggy, West Coast. There we go. I got to remember. Mr. Gestal Gaming sporting the new merch. How are you doing, sir?
This hat's actually like 4 years old, but yeah, throwing it on today, man. Doing great. Hit gold 3 this week, and I've been bouncing back and forth between gold 2 and gold 3 since then, but having fun with it, and yeah, man, doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. Next, above you, we have Mr. FinalKenpachi. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, my friend. Thank you so much for having me again. Today is a special day, actually. My country 100th birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. There's a little flag there because of that. That's my work. There you go.
And right above you, we have finally finalized the divorce papers. Mr. Nacho. Nacho, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How about yourself? Hanging in there.
You sound sad because of the divorce.
Oh yeah,
you're not upbeat like you were last week.
I am dead, man. I'm saving the energy for what matters. That's all I know. You just wait.
All right. How has your week been? We've had a lot of fun things this week, I guess. And, I know everybody was excited about one particular event this week, and that was clan versus clan. How did you feel about this new matchup, Jay?
We're seeing a little bit different teams, new champions and stuff like that, but, still a community is still griping about certain things that I can understand, but just come up with new strategies, try to come up with new stuff. But I think they're pushing a lot of the, asking Plarium like, hey, this needs to be fixed, like this needs to be addressed. But you can only do what you can do. Like even when I'm in like Live Arena, right? Like I don't complain when someone has like both Taras and Mariska. I just deal with it, right? So that's how I look at
it. Okay. Gestal, how was CBC for you this week?
Yeah, I feel like we got matched up against someone definitely a lot stronger than what we typically do. But we lost accordingly as well. So, but my clan's not like crazy tryhards in CVC, especially when it's not personal rewards. So, I feel like it's almost expected for us to lose non-personal reward weeks. As long as we win the weeks with personal rewards, I'm cool with it.
Okay. I think Kenpachi's clan was like number 1 for quite a while during this last CVC. What was going on there, sir? Were you guys breaking the free-to-play streak?
No. We just get 200, 300k minimum. And we was number 1. If we was number 1 with 200, 300k per member, there's a problem there. If you are gonna face the number 1 clan on the next CVC, there's a problem there. I keep talking about that, but Plarium doesn't care it. Matchmaking system is not fair. Literally, Whale clan are doing nothing on the non-PR CVC, and they are trying to aim clans like me on the PR CVC, and Plarium doesn't doing anything to fix that. And it's so stupid. I don't think anybody happy about that, because you have to be literally look the leaderboard on the every last minute of the before the CVC, and you need to coordinate your members. Hey guys, do 10,000 more than point, so you can aim that. It's so stupid, and this system is abusing for a while. And okay, the short-term turns, yeah, we are not pushing on the PR CVC anymore unless there is going to be back-to-back PR twice, then we can win. So we are just getting our accessories on the no PR easily, then we are chilling on the PR. And we really don't care about that anymore until Plarium fix it.
Okay. Nacho, how was yours?
Oh, it was just another CVC. Everybody in the top 100 just got matched against the person that was next to them. So 1 got 2, 3 got 4, 5 got 6, everything like that. So anybody in the top 100 just got a comparable as shit matchup. We ended up getting, I think, Sin's second clan or something like that, and we beat them. So, although I am pretty happy with the CVC changes, because even now, you can't fix your matchups. One person moves from one clan, the whole leaderboard's scuffed. It's not possible to fix matchups anymore. Not unless you are in the top 10 clans. That's it. And then you know for a fact, if you talk to those clans, because there's a Discord for all the top clans, if anybody had somebody move. That's literally the only way to do that. Other than that, everybody else should be significantly more happy with the CVC matchmakings, especially since the bottom 90 on the top 100 can't fix their matchups as easily anymore. So.
Yeah, we went up against IPR, and I'm not gonna lie, we kind of said that IPR is one of those clans where they're 100% focused on CVC and will wail out, and we just came to the realization and said, nope, let them have it. We don't care. It doesn't matter. We'll put up our 10 million, 12 million points to stay, and that was it, right? But yeah, I feel like this CVC left kind of a bad taste in everybody's mouth, but we're gonna get into that in a little while, because we got to talk about some things Plarium's doing wrong and fixing some of these things, right? But before we get into that, the content creator question of the week is: what kind of pizza guy are you? Do you do pepperoni? Are you that one that likes anchovies? Or, are you one that likes pineapple on your pizza? Who likes fruit? But let's go ahead and start off with Nacho first.
I am a plain pepperoni guy, and all I've got to say is not one of you can tell me why pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. I've only heard one in my entire life excuse on why pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. But I'll leave it for you guys to add on to this question. I'm just a plain pepperoni guy, though. I tell you what, this is the bee's knees. Can't beat it.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
I used to love pepperoni as well, but unfortunately, that causes problems with my stomach, so I have to be a plain cheese eater. And I can't eat a lot of it anyways, because I also have lactose intolerance. So unfortunately, it's like a guilty pleasure. Sometimes I'll eat it. But yeah, I used to eat it way too much. I even worked for a pizza company and literally ate it every single day. But yeah, I just try to have it once a month now.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, pepperoni, man. I'm not I mean, pepperoni, I'm cool with sausage. If there's a good meatball, I'm cool with the meatballs too, but typically just pepperoni. I will never tell anyone not to put something on their pizza. You could have pineapple on your pizza, but if you're having a pineapple party, pizza party, I'm probably either not eating or not showing up. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Kenpachi, what about you? What's your go-to topping for your pizza?
I can't really say I try every type of the pizza, but I love margarita, the one, the green leaf and cheese, tomato sauce. That's I don't know, I really like this one. It's very light and it's not heavy, and I can eat that all day,
Okay, so you like the tomato basil with fresh mozzarella cheese. Okay,
yep.
Cool. So for myself, I really like peppers and onions on my pizza. I'm not a big fan of pepperoni, be honest. But let me ask you, what is the one topping that you never want to see on a pizza? Because I have a feeling that everybody's going to say the same thing, but I'm just curious. Jay, what's the one topping you never want to eat on a pizza?
I tried this, and me thinking on forehead, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be delicious, right? I worked for Domino's at the time, and they had like these chocolate molten lava cakes. I said, oh, I love pizza. I love chocolate. They're both hot. Put them together. It's gonna be amazing. It was one of the most disgusting things I've ever tasted, and I got sick from it as well. Don't put chocolate like tons of it. Maybe little drops, but don't put tons of chocolate. It's disgusting. Cheese, chocolate, and everything else. Sauce does not go with it. So yeah, never again.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
I'm gonna say it. Anchovies don't belong on pizza. Nope. Nope. Don't be putting them fishes on the pizzas.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Onions.
Onions. Okay.
Get them out of here. Always. Anchovies too, man. I mean, I'm not eating anchovy. I'm pretty much not eating any vegetables on a pizza. I'll be perfectly honest.
Okay.
I know anchovies is not a vegetable, but that was the wifey. The anchovies I'm not down with, but like I would if thrown in front of me, if there was like an onion pizza and an anchovy pizza and I had to eat one, I'd eat the anchovy. But I don't want either.
Okay.
Yeah, onions never.
Okay. Kenpachi, what about you?
Kebab. Don't put kebab top of the pizza.
Kebab.
Eat them different, yeah.
Okay. I was thinking it was actually going to be anchovies for everybody. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, listen, I'm Greek. We eat it with the feta cheese, tomatoes, and pita bread. Everything. You're eating it for what we call a mezze, and I just can't now. Yeah, I don't do anchovies. I don't. But yeah, okay. All right. Jay, we're going to have to talk a little bit about that molten lava cake because why? Why, bro?
I'm built different.
That's, I don't know. All right. All right. So, we got a new fusion. Actually, before we get into that, let me acknowledge some of the chat. We got Keith Wilson in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Being Useless, thank you for joining us. And Smokey, thank you for joining us, sir. We also have a few more lurkers in the chat. But as soon as we see something come up, we will recognize them. And thank you for joining us again, guys. All right. So let's talk about this new fusion, right? Timid the Fool. Now, looking at him, I honestly thought he was going to be a Night Revenant. Do you guys think that they did justice by putting him in the Bannerlords? Let's go with Gestal first.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised it was Bannerlords. I think he looks like evil. So I thought, maybe Knights Rev or I don't know, somewhere along the third row. I mean, he could even almost be undead, honestly. If they wanted to put a whole story around him, that would suit that. But yeah, Bannerlords, I don't know. I feel like the Bannerlords are supposed to be the good guys, right? And that dude just looks straight evil. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah. I get that creepy vibe from him. Let's go with Jay next. What do you think, man? Is he a Bannerlord?
It's like they were trying to go for like, hey, Mass Fearmonger came out during Halloween, so they were like, we need to give more of that type of vibe to Bannerlords of like these creepy Bannerlord type of legendaries, right? But I thought honestly he was gonna be Night Rev. Like it seems like a soulless kind of guy, right? And that's what they're part of. Like Night Rev is a corrupted faction, so type. Like I thought that would be that, but yeah, it's different because the pairing, she doesn't look like she's like Night Rev or undead or anything like that, right? She looks like potentially a Bannerlord to a degree, like kind of like Masquerade kind of feel, right? But then he's more of like this like undead Night Revenant kind of mix, and it's kind of interesting that he's in the Bannerlords. Plus, also, we just got Bannerlords. Why did they give us more? Why not other factions? But hey, that's just a little gripe,
Yeah. Okay. Kenpachi, what about you? What do you think? Should he have done a Bannerlord?
I always thought they are from Bannerlord because look at their costume. It's literally the Bannerlord flag, green. Like I never think they are from Night Revenant or anything. This dude literally screaming, "I'm Bannerlord," you know, like same for the his girlfriend, partner. She's also the kind of same costume. I guess they are giving more available champion on the Bannerlord because you can get the fill your faction guardian for the Taras Maricha, so can help the too many people, you know.
Okay. Nacho, what about you? You agree with Bannerlords? You're muted. You're muted, Nacho. Yep, you're still muted.
Issue maybe.
All right. It sounds like he might be having a little bit of a technical difficulty there. All right. So we'll get Nacho back in here real quick. In the meantime, though, whoops. Let me close that back out. I don't know what just happened there. Uh-oh. All right. Hold on. We are having... There we go. Okay. Okay, we're good. Nacho, are you good?
Whoops.
There we go.
Yeah. I was just messing with my sound settings. I couldn't even hear what you were saying.
Okay. Timid the Fool, is he a Bannerlord candidate or should he have been a Knight Revenant? Or something else?
I think he fits fine in the Bannerlords. He's a freaking clown. Like, he's literally a court jester, my guys.
You know, someone else said that in my when I did my video on him. They said he's the court jester. I was like, yeah, I guess I could see that. I don't know. He just feels like a Knight Revenant to me. Just feels like a Knight Revenant.
Sure, and then people would say Sato feels like a Shadowkin or an undead, but just because there's cross themes in the factions. Come on now.
True.
Listen, by the way, I cannot watch the stream. It's buffering, but I wonder, is that just me?
Your stream looks like dog water on Discord. It's like just a gray blob, basically.
On Discord?
PlayStation 1 graphics.
I don't
just
know.
check my phone. It's also not working there. Maybe just my internet, but I don't know. Can you guys confirm?
I'm trying to...
Maybe double stream hurting upload.
Maybe. I don't know how it's... because I'm using a plugin for it. So... I'm gonna have to try to figure out and do some testing with that. It's still kind of new to me. I don't do...
Streamlabs lets you launch both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. You don't need a plugin for it.
Okay. I use OBS, so we'll have to... I'll have to take a look into that and do both of them that way then. Looks like YouTube was still coming in good though. So, all right. Now let's talk about, are you guys actually going for this fusion? Let's go with Jay first.
Yeah, so me being a very Andrissia enthusiast, I have two of them, and I use one primarily when I'm pushing toward like high gold or plat or tag team arena, showcasing her and stuff like that. So I do like champions that have abilities that can decrease the duration of the sheep debuff, buffs, because then you don't get sheeped. It's not a sheepable offense. I've talked about this many times, and I've tried against 6-star blessed champions, 1-star blessed. It can happen with other debuffs, right? Like Andrissia has like stun and the A1, but just the fact that you're using a skill that reduces duration of buffs is really cool. It's the highest one in the game so far. Most champions do 2, 1 AoE or single target, but he's the first champion that can technically do 3. Plus I do want to go for his pairing as well. I kind of have a Cupidus Venus and I don't have Mariska yet, but I do have Taras, so I would like to get more pairing champions. So that's why I've been going for Sify and Mariska and stuff like that. But if I can go for her, I definitely want to get them together. They look really good. I've watched some content in terms of a test server to see how that works. By himself, he's okay. He's nothing crazy. But I do want to eventually in the future get them together. So that's why I'm going for him.
Okay. Nacho, what about you? Are you going for this fusion?
Oh yeah, Fragment Fusion's a free champion, man. You pull shards on the one weekend and you're done. Like, come on.
Okay. Gestal, what about yourself?
Yeah, I kind of feel like either I don't even care what the champions are for Fusion, Fragment, whatever. I feel like it's a guaranteed new legendary champ. Go for it. If he's in the vault, he's in the vault. You know, he might get buffed, he might get useful down the road. So it's I just go for them all. And I mean that's basically what sacred shards are for now, isn't it? Like just doing these.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I go for them all. I'm not like impressed by them, but again, you never know. You never know.
Are you going both for it on the free to play and the
Yeah.
main account? Okay.
Yeah, my free to play. I'm kind of at the point where I want to see if I can just do it each month. And I've gotten this will be the fifth month in a row I've gone for it. So, you know, maybe I should be focusing in some other areas, but I just frankly don't have the time to kind of really be pushing too hard on that account right now. There's a lot of work with every kind of step I make at that point now. I have Ultra Nightmare 2 key farm right now, so I've just been working more on the main account, honestly.
Okay. Kenpachi, what about you?
I skipping him. I don't need him. He's also not good looking girl, so I definitely don't need him. Yeah, I'm skipping him. I just get my fusion. I got 4 stars Wukong, which was basically fusion. I spent my resources on it. I can get him with no problem. I can get next 10 fusion probably with no problem, but what's the point? Like, I don't need him. I don't think he's gonna be good on anywhere. Yes, like Jay mentioned, he's not gonna get a ship, but Stone Skin still 50%. I'm not gonna put this dude on my team to potential remove the Stone Skin from enemy team. Which is he still need the accuracy for that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing is concern me. I actually made a video about that. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but if you check the previous like four champion, they released it. Every one of them has decreased buff duration. Islin, Panda, Epic champion from Panda Fusion, Mikage, Lady Mikage also had that. Like, it's like, actually, topic of the video was, if this new upcoming content has a boss, and boss has a passive skill, you cannot remove this boss buff, but you can reduce their tormentor. I mean, their duration. I mean, again, like maybe it's just very extreme thing, but it just bothering me. Like, why we are keep getting decreased buff duration over and over, back to back. It's literally like if you check the champion there, Islin, Panda, Epic champion from Panda, Mikage, this boy. It's really weird, isn't it, guys? Like, what are they cooking? You know?
That is true. Yeah. Jay?
And
Yeah, I mean, too many champions.
And the sheep blessing is, you know, this January we're getting a champion rebalance, and the sheep is going to get nerfed. So maybe it could be a setup for that.
That is very interesting. I wonder if you won't be. Yeah, because I guess buff stripping won't work, but buff decreased duration.
Again, it's just very extreme. But yeah, maybe you never know. You know.
I think Apache's onto this. I think he's onto something.
And if the people gonna say, "Hey, bro, like I don't have resources, I didn't get this champion, what I'm gonna do then?" Arbitrate too, you know. Arbitrate too. There we go, progress champion A2, decrease buff duration.
That's
New
true.
option. And Plarium gonna say, "Hey, bro, you have arbiter, use it, right?"
That's true. That's true. Let's acknowledge some of the chat real quick. We got T-Bone in the chat. We got Keith. We've got T-Bone and Uncurdy Incorrect in the chat. Oh no. I think we might have a problem because it sounds like my headset's about to die. Oh. And I put it on the charger too. All right. So let's talk. Give me a second here. We are having an issue here. Give me a sec, guys. Let's talk about where do we expect this fusion to to come out for us? Where are we expecting to use him? Let's start with Nacho first.
Definitely arena. The A2 just screams arena. Decreased buff duration is the only way to not get sheeped.
Okay, give me a second here. I think the chat cannot hear us because now my sound mic is coming in a different way. And I thought I was going to be all set with this. Here we go. Yep, that's what I figured. They can't hear. Technical difficulties. I'm really not enjoying this. Sounds back?
Yep.
He said.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, cool. All right, so you're talking arena. Cool. I think he's definitely going to be a good counter for a lot of these stone skin teams, right? Granted, it's going to be 50-50, but I definitely think that that's going to work out pretty well there. Jay, what about you? Where are you? Okay, now another one is saying. Sounds back. No sound. Give me a second. Nope. I got sound. I got sound. Huh? Yeah, that's okay. It was just because I had to switch the Discord real quick. Okay, so Jay, where are you planning on using this fusion, man? Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, Jay, they said that they can't hear you. Your mic's on. All right. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I think so. Okay, that one is swapped. Okay. Jay, why don't you tell us again what you were planning on using him for? Let's see if this will work this time. Yeah, go ahead, do a test. Let's see if everybody can still hear you. Yeah. All right. No, I gotta fix this real quick. Device. All right. Let's try this again now. Jay, go ahead and say something, my man.
Testing. Do you even raid?
Okay.
Hello.
Yep, you're good.
All right. So Jay, now that we have all of this technical difficulty done, why don't you tell us again what you're planning on using him for?
So pretty much I'm going to be showcasing like live arena, tag team arena, just having fun with him, not taking too serious because I don't have Kaja. But once I do get Kaja, I will probably actually consider it using it a lot more, kind of like Cupid is Venus comp. And I will be using him for my Bannerlords, trying to get a personal record in my faction wars because I'm always trying to get all of them faster and faster. The less time you play the game, the better. And probably show maybe like a one video of Hydra, just showing people if you don't have block buffs or if you don't have a consistent block buffs, decreased duration might be decent there as well.
Okay. Hey, Nacho, I'm guessing they didn't hear you, so why don't you tell us what your plan is to use him again?
Oh, definitely arena. It just screams arena. The only thing I wish it would do is decrease protected buff duration. That would make it much more useful in Hydra because you
Can that be resisted as well?
I mean, resistance would be cool, but but that would be a complete answer to the poison cloud. Be able to just strip it immediately. It'd be a complete answer to protection set as well. I mean, not that protection set really needs a nerf again, but it would be one of the few ways that you'd be able to unconditionally strip bolster, which would be huge, especially for the free-to-play players. It would bolster is so imbalanced right now. It's kind of doing what Stone Skin did when it first came out, and the fact that you can't get it anywhere in the game to any capacity is pretty garbage. It's by far the most pay-to-win thing they've ever introduced to Raid. So I wish they would at least give an answer to it.
Most pay-to-win thing introduced into Raid. Those are pretty big words. Those are pretty
Not
big
really.
words.
There's nothing else in the entire game that is gated by wallet. Straight up. You can get everything else in the game for free.
Okay. I guess that. I mean, you could still get some parts of bolster for free.
You can't get bolster sets for free. That's cap, and you know it. Like Kenpachi,
you get
how many?
you get 75 materials at 50.
Yeah,
I can answer that.
So you can make, what is that, 15 pieces?
Ken's completed everyone, and he's got one half-ass bolster set on somebody.
It's still a set that you can get, but
I mean, yeah, but you can't really use that on the arena champion, that bolster set, if you get unlucky like me. Most of the crafting, which is game give you 15 piece to craft, 15, 5, 6 star for the each season pass, and they did that twice if I'm not mistaken, so you can only get 30. And bolster is very strong set. Like I put one Ursuga right now because she have a freaking awesome base stat, so I can actually build her in the bolster, but I really wish to do that on Mitrella instead of Ursuga, so I can use my second Harima there, so. But I can't.
Okay. So where do you think he's going to be best in Kenpachi?
Oh. I mean, the arena can be cool, to be honest, but again, like, I don't really know he's gonna be that strong. Like, is the stripping stone skin that big issue, guys? Like, I mean, she's gonna get nerfed too, so it's still gonna be 50%. You can just wait, their stone skin is gone. It's just only 2 turns, or you can use the loss of the champion can ignore stone skin like Georgia. Actually, I'm not sure lots of champion ignoring that. Anyway, like there is still other champion can strip their buff. Like here is the thing. He's gonna take one space on your arena team. Is he really worth it for this space?
That's true.
I mean,
if his ability was a triple hitter and each one had a chance to decrease by 1 turn instead of one hit doing 3 turns,
that would be nice.
His ability would be miles better.
Like Oko, right? Oko attack twice because he's have a high chance of stripping.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's only attack 1 time too. So I really don't
you
know. It's also force affinity. It's
right,
attack skill, right? So that's just gonna be a little bit problem. But beside that, I mean, people can. I mean, depends on the account, obviously. Like people can use him anywhere. Do we know his multiplayer yet? He can be actually hit hard as well. I actually enjoy HP nukers. I really don't know. Actually, especially with his partner, he has some nuke. How to say that capacity? You know, like performance. You know, the thing more than strip that can be solid as well. But again, like I actually didn't check his multiplayer. I don't know it's out yet. We will see, but mainly arena champion. Hydra can be useful, you know. He have a stripper as well. Like again, like if you don't have anything else, like of course you can also use him on the Hydra, right? Like really depends, like.
Yeah. You know, when I was first looking at him, I really thought Hydra was going to be quite good for him because 2 of his hits are all AoE. And then if you put him in a provoke set, he should work out pretty well to help you out there. But I feel like he's going to be much better off for arena than anything else, even though his passive or his A3 is gonna make him just a sheep target. Quite honestly, I think it's just not gonna work out as well.
I mean, you are gonna give him a crit, so
yeah. So you know, putting out the true fear though is, I mean, I guess at the start of the round, if everybody's got some, you know, stone skin, shouldn't be that bad. But I feel like he's just going to be polymorphed all the time.
By the you guys remember the first video they released it, and we see a little bit action from him and his partner. Yeah. And on this video, like he was placing True and I called it on the chat, guys, he's gonna be garbage. True is the most useless thing in the game right now.
That it is. You know, but who knows? Maybe with this new content. I mean, I think for wave-based stuff like Doom Tower trying to climb through, he's definitely going to be helpful, right? With the increased accuracy, with the true fear, with the decreased buff duration, he's going to be able to take a hit because he's force. So when you're going up against like the Rotos waves, shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. And it'll help you out there. But yeah, I think he's definitely going to be more of a wave-based champion to help you clear, as opposed to arena, at least most likely from my account. Now, are you guys planning on booking him? Because we know books are very, very scarce, especially legendary books for most players. And I don't know if he's really worth booking, right? We get on the A2, we get a decrease by 2 turns. On the A3, same thing. So we're not increasing any chances of landing anything other than his A1, we get more of a heal. So do we really care if he's fully booked? Let's go with Nacho first.
Wait, you guys are gonna summon him? I thought we were just doing this because we don't want him as champions. But hell no, I'm not booking this dude. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't want him wasting books until he has a purpose in the game. When he has a purpose in the game, you're damn right I'm booking him, though. 6-turn cooldown on the A3, that's a joke. He's literally not usable at a 6-turn cooldown. There's no champion in the game that you can say, yeah, 6 turns, fine. And he only takes 8 books to do. Like, it's easy to book.
That is true. I didn't even look at how many books he takes. He only takes 8 books, which I think this is on the lower end of the spectrum, because usually most of the champions they've been releasing take anywhere between 10 and 12. So, yeah. Okay. Let's go with Jay. Jay, are you planning on booking this guy?
Yeah, so I'm gonna gotta book him because I'm gonna show him off. But for 4 books, because I don't need any books on the A1. I only need 2 books on the A2 and 2 books on the A3, and none of them have damage, so you save books, right? Most champions you have to go through all these damage or percentages just to get to that cooldown. I can get 400 speed just with 4 books. It's 100 speed per book. That's worth it. 4 books is not a lot. Now we're talking about 8 to 12. That's a lot. But for 4, I can give up 4 for one champion so I can actually use them. But if I don't get lucky and all 4 go on the A1, that's huge sag because then I got to put another 4. But if I get lucky in the first 4 and go on the A2 and the A3, I'll actually consider going all the way. Overall, I'm happy they didn't go too crazy. His multipliers on the A2 is 0.25 and the 0.28 on the A3. So if they put all those little extra damages, that would have just taken up more books and made this champion even worse, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, yeah, I'm gonna definitely book him.
Okay. Kenpachi, what about you?
No, if I pull him one day, I will definitely not gonna book him. Book wise, it's solid, but both of the skill is 4 turn cooldown after you book. I think A2 is a chance of to get extra turn if he remove all the buff, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is cool, but I personally don't like 4 turn cooldown if the skill is not broken, like a lockout champion or the AoE revive, stuff like that. 4 turn cooldown, like, very long, man. And for example, you are facing Warlord with the Duchess and he lock out your Duchess. There we go, GG. There's nothing you can do. At least against Yumeko you can do something because she have like 5 turn cooldown, I believe. And she's also placing your skill on the cooldown by 3 turn. So 4 turn is very, very long. I don't like 4 turn.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? Are you planning on booking him?
Nah, I mean, I only really book people that I actively use. Now, if, like not just said, if he becomes needed somewhere, then I'll definitely book him. But I'm probably not gonna be really using him. So no books.
Okay. So I mean, obviously, I'm going to do some content on him, and I do have the books. I want to test him out and see where he's going to work. So CVC is just around the corner, so he's going to get at least 4 books, possibly 8. But it's not because I feel like he deserves it. I feel like it's just for the content, right? Now let me ask you guys, what would you think? And I'm gonna ask this to Ken first because Ken's one of the only ones from the 5 of us that is not going for the fusion. What would they have had to change for you to go for this fusion? What would make it better for you to say, yes, I suggest 100% you do not miss out this fusion?
If they change the A2 ability, attack enemy, instead of like just decrease buff duration, then the attack enemy, so it can't be weak attack if they do like that. That will be cool. And I don't know, like A3 is definitely garbage. That will be cool too. Like, okay, let's leave the A3 as it is. Just give him extra turn. You can build them like kind of low accuracy because it's give you increase accuracy buff. But if you are gonna start this ability first, skill first, then you have to wait 1 turn to use your A2 ability, which is kinda, like kinda suck. Or if they give like his A3 increase attack as well, at least can be sold on the bomb team. So I think these changes can make him a little bit more viable, more usage in different places. And if I'm not mistaken, his passive skill, yeah, I mentioned that on the stream couple of times. Like, if you remove his passive skill, nothing gonna be changed. It's that useless. I'm not missing anything, right? Like, his passive skill, nothing. Like, literally, like, remove the passive skill, nothing gonna change. It's like 10% Terminator boost. What you're gonna do with the 10% Terminator boost? Like, I'm reviving my dead champion with the Sifi. There is a 3 champion on the enemy team getting turn before him. It's it's max Terminator, by the way. Again, it depends on the obviously current turn, but like passive skill, like definitely totally useless.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? What do you think? What would make this guy an automatic for you to say, guys, you can't miss him? He's definitely solid. You need to go for him.
If his A2 affected protected buffs, that was like my big question with him originally. If that were the case, man, he'd be super OP. I think everyone would be running him honestly in arena. But obviously, like after I thought about it, kind of whatever, then obviously it came out it doesn't. Like I truly didn't think it was going to, because then like what's the point of a protected buff, I guess. But that does bring up a good question. What is the point of protected buffs? Maybe they need to get rid of those, man, because it kind of kills a lot of stuff. So
Does
I
it
don't
though?
know. That would have been it.
Does it though? I
Huh?
mean, I feel like protected buffs are a good thing to have because I mean we've got champions like Ramantu, we've got, champions like Madame that will come in and strip your whole team, and if they're faster than you, it's GG. It's they won, right? So I feel like the protected buffs, it could be a little bit of a more balance between
They
them.
haven't like. I don't think they've killed the game with it. Like it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like once people start getting enough protection sets from Hydra, and especially like 9-piece, like it's probably in a year or two we're away from that. But like just everything is gonna be protected again, or at that point, and then what are you gonna do? Are you just sitting waiting on buffs?
True.
Can I ask you
True.
guys something real quickly?
Yep.
Like, are you guys happy about the way of the game working? They are releasing a new set called the Stone Skin. They are releasing a champion, ignore Stone Skin. They are releasing a protection, then they are releasing a champion, ignore the protection. Like, isn't that like a little bit cheap way to, I don't know, like progress of the game? Like, there is a champion, ignore defense, so you don't need a Madame Series. You don't have to worry about the give Madame Series accuracy. You don't have to worry about your Madame Series gonna get a ship, stuff like that. Pretend that they are again they are releasing a shield set called the Bolster. It cannot be stripped. That again, like, isn't that like a little bit weird? Like,
I mean, you have to have
I cannot wait the champion who can ignore the Taras Maricha. By the way, it's gonna be happen one day. We all know that, right?
Oh yeah, Quintus, right? Totally, surely.
Yeah.
But in general, like you have to have an answer to something, right? Like you can't just have Stone Skin in the game and have zero answer to it whatsoever. So you have to release. It's either at the same time or right after. So
Yeah.
in general, I'm pretty happy with the PvP cycle. The only thing that we've been stuck on that we're kind of getting out of is the Taras Marichka meta. Like Taras is falling off and how strong he is. People are just like getting more used to how to fight him and stuff like that. And there's becoming more viable nukers, not in the faction that he fears. Mainly, like we have Ronda and Wukong as the two daily logins. They're both amazing against him. Stuff like that. So
you saying Taras need a buff?
no. Nerf him. As a Terrace owner, nerf him. Nerf
Listen,
him, please.
we don't like using the word nerf on the channel. We like using the word rebalance. So let's rebalance. Okay.
Okay.
Nerfing is for especially players that have been waiting for so long. Nerfing's always a bad thing, but rebalance, that's always a good word. All right. Let's go with Nacho. What do you think, Ben? What would make him a much better fusion for you to say, let's go 100%, everybody's in?
If the 8-2 is a 3-hitter instead of a 1-hitter. It's the same thing with like a Nithwi. Like you have a 50-50 chance of doing 100% nothing right now. Okay, you could have 3 50-50 chances to do something. That would be better.
By the way, can you imagine 3-hitter AoE attack as a DPS, by the way?
Oh yeah.
That can be nice as well, right?
Yes,
Actually, Ethos doing that, right? Ethos?
Ethos does it. Leo has one also. There's a couple champions that have 3-hitters. But and as an HP champion, I doubt it would be even that strong. Like a 0.28 that's nothing. So
Yeah.
I would love to see him have a triple hitter here. That would be as far as something else that people haven't said. And then a better passive, of course. Like instead of 10% turn meter, just give me a turn. Like
Okay.
if somebody activates an ability under fear, give me a turn. That would be insane. Because now they're either skipping turns or giving me turn. Okay, now you can move a battle in your favor. Whether that be through a stun set or whatever. There's a lot of things you can start abusing if that's what you get.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
So personally, the multipliers on the A2, because 0.25 is a little too low. That's a smack. It's not. I understand the A3 brings a lot of stuff, right? It brings increased accuracy, which is a very important thing, and it brings true fear, right? Places. There's no chance to roll it. But it's like if the A3 is going to be 02.8, which is not a nuke, you have to be 0.3 to be considered a nuke as an HP champion. So it's almost there. 0.25 is just too low. Opert and Clanfather, when I was using them in Savage, right, as a smacker, or Loriaka, using her as in like Savage set, right, which these are support champions. They're not nukers. So when you look at his multipliers overall, it just needs to be a little bit more adjusted. His A1 and A2 just need to be 0.3 extra just to be a little bit more balanced for 2023. I feel like his damage is like a year behind. So that's what I would do. He's reliant on Kaja a lot. If you look at Kaja, like this guy can throw out multiple AoEs like over and over and over with Kaja, which is crazy. But without her, he just kind of feels like a setup character. Here, I'm trying to reduce debuffs for your nuker, or I'm trying to give you increased accuracy, maybe for a bomb champion, and like to help out. Like everything he's doing is to help out the other team, but by himself, he's mediocre, especially if we're talking about like end game arena stuff like that. But if you're like early to late, he's really strong. Having people were showing, Magnar or Verse of the Grin versus him and stuff like that in terms of stats and stuff like that, in terms of damage, and he's just okay. Like he's good. Like he's not insane. So we want him to be that good. But yeah, I would have just changed his multipliers on the A2 and probably give him a little bit more turn meter boost. Like at least 30%. What the hell? Like 10's like nothing. Like you're not gonna see that. You're probably gonna get slept or controlled before you even get a turn. So I think 30 would have been a nice number because the other part of the passive is super amazing. It procs. They lose their skill, right, which is like a lockout from the True Fear. Then they get provoked, right, and that synergizes because he's kind of tanky. But yeah, that's what I would have done. His passive and the A2 little bit of multipliers would really make him like, I guess you could say, ready for 2024, at least the end of 2023.
Okay. So for myself, I mean, I think like the A3, instead of like increase accuracy in the True Fear, give us a setup champion, right? So give us places, increase attack, increase defense, grants an extra turn, especially because it's a 4-turn cooldown, right? So if he did that, grants an extra turn, brings it down to 3 turns, right? Essentially. And then the A2 would actually then be a little more powerful because you come in, you increase attack, you increase defense, you come in, you strip whatever buffs you can, and you set up your nuker, right? Which then gives you, a little more viability in arena. Right now, I just feel like he's just going to be too much, again, of just a polymorph. I think if this just granted us the extra turn with the increased defense and increased attack, he'd be a better champion for setup. He could take a hit. And then the whole passive just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe just get rid of it and not even worry about it, right? There's plenty of legendaries that don't really need passives or have passives in the game. But I feel like that change right there would be beneficial and would definitely help you out a lot. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would that be something that, because I think a change like that would be something Plarium might be open to rebalancing. But what do you guys think? Let's go with Ken first.
His multiplier, you mean?
No, so on the A3, rather than doing increase accuracy and True Fear, replace those with increase attack and increase defense, and then grant an extra turn. No turn meter boost on a 4-turn cooldown. On a 4-turn cooldown.
But he's gonna get extra turn, so 3-turn cooldown.
Yeah, and then
bro, you know what? You know what I want right now on my Hydra team? 3-turn cooldown, increase attack champion, and if I also can get increased defense together, like a Betrayal, I can just use my attack DPS there at the same time, my defensive DPS at the same time. This champion actually becomes super valuable right now, like Rakka. Nobody was care about Rakka, right? She's crazy good on the Hydra right now. because on the low difficulty I'm talking about,
Mhm.
Nacho know that. Like literally, guys, you guys can use your DPS champion on the lower difficulty, like hard or the normal, and they are gonna do way better job than the NM max HP, because NM max HP, I mean, low difficulty boss doesn't have too much HP, so because of that, they are gonna deal less damage. So like champion like Masala, I don't know, Harima, Var, Whisper, just name it. There is lots of great champions there. Michinage, they are dealing crazy damage, and I'm using my Mitrela there. I really want to use my Mitrela on the brutal team instead of the hard. And yeah, like if you give him increased attack, increased defense, return cooldown, that will be super sick. That's enough, by the way, for me to try to get them to win.
Yeah.
And just give him revive as well. Oh, damn, there you go. You don't have a revive right here.
Give him a revive too, and then
Yeah, give everything.
We're not gonna make him better than a Nuke Fusion, right?
By the way, speaking Jace mentioned his multiplier. It's 0.25, right? His A2 multiplier. RX A1 0.22, by the way. A1. Just A1.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
A attack. Yeah.
Gestal, what do you think? Giving him the increased attack, increased defense, extra turn, would that be enough?
I would definitely make it more viable, I think, in a couple different places. But yeah, I don't think they'll do it. But if they did it, I think it would make them definitely a lot better. I think the reason they won't do it, at least they won't do it right away. They would have to wait a while. But if they did that like mid fusion, I think that would really make a lot of people upset.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think they're gonna do that right now, Greg. No way. That would piss off so many people.
Well, I would have gone for them then.
Nacho, what about you? What do you think?
It would really only increase his Hydra viability, to be honest. Without a boost, it's useless in Arena. Mithril is barely usable in Arena. Gestal's high gold, Diamond high gold. Mithril is not an enabling champion. You're not bringing her to be your increased attack, specifically your increased attack. Defensive nukers can use her a lot more, but not your go first nukers. No. You're not doing anything to interact with the enemy to stop them from going. So if they're faster, they win. Just like that. The whole point of especially attack enabler is to get your attack nukers to actually go. Because if the enemy goes, your attack nukers are dead. Like, as simple as it gets. They can hit your attack nuker with near anybody and they're gonna die. Okay, so if you're using an attack nuker, you have to boost them, or you have to like lock the enemy out or something like that, or introduce a hard CC like a provoke instantly, or something like that. So just giving him increased attack and increased defense into his debuff strip duration only increases his Hydra viability.
Well, so again, it would be increase attack, increase defense, and then extra turn. So
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, you're not doing anything. Like, you're not stopping the enemy from going. That's my point. The enemy is going to cut in between this dude and your nuker, and your increased attack and defense did nothing.
Right. Well, it depends on, what kind of team you're going against. But if you bring in, let's say, a Solus along with him on a go second team with, being Cancer and getting everything in Stone Skin, I think that might be something work.
As viable as the Mithrala, which I already established is not a viable solution.
Not really, because Mithrala can't strip buffs off the A2.
Mithrala is useful because her A2 does strip every buff you have if she hexes you.
If she hexes.
And you skip a turn.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you do if they already have a block debuffs up?
Right, you have to strip it.
Right, but this guy would strip it. This guy would place the increased attack, increased defense, and then get the extra turn into his A2. And then would strip, whatever mediocre, kind of nuker you bring in, I guess. But
if you're alive, that's the problem with Mithrala right now. Like, if you're alive.
Right, but this guy is an HP champion.
Sure, you ignore shields and you're dead. Just like that. There's just so many champions that do it. And that I'm telling you, like, there's almost nobody using Mithrala in Arena right now, dude. Come on. You can't tell me that people are actively using her that much.
I have
in live.
seen
I have
in live,
seen-
no.
In comparatively, no. Live is the number one arena content in the game right now. 3v3 doesn't matter on defense. Like, it's not even a factor. You can put in 12 fucking epic champions in 3v3 and stay in gold 4 almost. Like, I literally watched Viking Whale with a +3 Elenarl and a +3 Shamrock and whatever, top of gold 3 in the green. Like, you can literally put any 12 champions you want on defense and stay in gold in green in 3v3. So Live Arena is the most relevant piece of content when we're talking about PvP champions. And Mithrala is useless in gold. Okay? She is one of the lowest value picks you can have. She is a counter pick. She is not an immediate pick. So if you're going to have somebody that is an enabling champion, they need to carry weight like an Arbiter, like a Duchess. Like, they're not pickable. You can't say, I'm going to pick Timid every time for my increased attack. And then if you don't get Timid, you're screwed. Or your increased defense, you know what I mean? So that's the problem with Mithrala right now, is she doesn't do enough, even though she does more than what Timid would do.
Okay. All right. I mean, I still feel it would make him way viable and better than Mithrala at that point, but we can definitely carry this conversation on another episode. Jay, what about you? What do you think?
Everything fits him, right? He's supposed to be like this creepy clown. He's supposed to fear you. He brings increased accuracy, so that adds to the fear. So you don't have to, like, if people struggle, right? Most people, let's say you don't have an increased AoE champ. What if you're trying, like I said earlier, you're gonna combo this with a bomb champion, reduce their block debuffs buff so that you can get an extra turn, then go use the A3, increase AC, put control just in case your bombs don't go off, So I think he's pretty cool. If he had other stuff, I would like him to, under that place true fear, it should say, if this places at least a true fear on each enemy and lands, even if he gets whatever sheep, but if he at least lands, right, and it would say get an extra turn. I think that should be there, because if he's going to be a 1-4-4 champion, or technically a 1-3-4 under conditional of the A2, that should at least have that there, because you can start doing some big things, right? Even without Kaja. With Kaja, you start hitting those A2s and A3s fast, but without Kaja, he'd actually be pretty good on his own, right? Even though having these long cooldowns. But overall, I like his kit the way it's supposed to be. I just don't like the passive being only 10%. That's just ridiculous. With Kaja, it's way better, right, with the provokes, but just 10% Terminator is nothing. That needs to be way better. But I actually like the way his kit is. Everything, it tells you what he's trying to do. Reduce buffs, buffs from the enemy. Okay, now I can put my true fears. I make you, which I know is not the greatest debuff in the game, and people say it's cheapable, whatever. But that's only in high arena. You're not going to see that happen all the time. I have a 100% crit rate Kymar, and I rarely get sheep from my Kymar. So it doesn't always happen as much as you would think. But yeah, I wish they were just a little bit of multipliers, and just that's what I would change. Increase attack and increase defense sounds really good, right, for Hydra and other stuff like that. But we have so many of those champions. There's epics, and he's supposed to be kind of like this, put fear into your heart from the AoEs or just from his abilities. So I think Plarium did a decent job in his kit overall, trying to make something unique.
Okay. I mean, we're gonna have to really wait and see what else we can do with them. I mean, we do have the bigger than Doom Tower content coming out, and we'll see. For anybody who's not using them, I guess saving your resources, doing something else isn't bad. But for anybody who is going out there, good luck, and we hope you you don't fall up. But before we move into the next part, I just want to quickly touch on one thing, and I want to get your sentiments on this. Why the hell are we not getting the extra 5 fragments for the events? How do you guys think this is going to affect the player base going forward? Because it looks like the last 2 or 3 fusions, we haven't had that, especially with the fragment fusions. I'm not a big fan of it, because they did gate it behind the champion chase tournament and the champion training tournament. They didn't put it behind anything else. So what do you guys think? Is this something you're for or against? Let's go with Nacho first.
First off, it really only affects whales. Like the amount of people pushing, like planning fusions around winning tournaments was next to none. The only people doing that were big whales that were like, "Oh yeah, I'll put in an extra whole event or 3 into Dragon." Like, you have to literally. My Dragon tournament finished at 12,000. Is going to finish at like 12,000 points. The first day they have like 6,000 already, easy. You know what I mean? So to say that you're going to put that in as anyone that's besides a whale is stupid. No,
I don't think so, because if you had it in arena takedowns, this would actually be something that you could move in this one and not have to do something else, like doing your. I would much rather put being especially an early game player, putting in the gems and the effort into arena over having to do a dungeon divers, because the dungeon divers are ridiculous points, 4,800 points.
Yeah, that's why you're not going to waste gems on arena. That's stupid.
I would rather do the arena ones, to be quite honest, because then I can upgrade my Great Hall bonuses.
Sure, using gems on arena is one of the least efficient things you can do with your gems as a free-to-play player. You 100% complete the Great Hall for free. You don't need to spend any extra resources doing it when you can't even do all your daily fights. Like, the amount of people I know that can do 30 plus fights a day is next to none. They do 20, maybe, because that's how long it takes for them to get a refresh, and while they're doing their dailies, and they do 1 refill. Maybe. You know what I mean? And if they're lucky, they'll do 25. They'll do their 10, 1 refill, and the 5 that they get. Nobody's coming in at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon saying, "Oh, hey, my 10 refills are up. I better go log in." You know what I mean?
This guy right here does it. This guy right here does it. I don't miss out on arena. Well,
I'm gonna tell you right now, free-to-play players are not out there counting down the minutes until their arena refills are done.
No, they're not. But right, I feel like the fact that they're taking this away,
investing gems into that instead of dungeon runs is significantly less helpful, because you're not guaranteed the dungeon runs like whatsoever. If you're taking dungeon runs away to do arena runs, like you're literally trading 6.5 dungeon runs for 10 arena fights. That's not worth it.
I mean, again, for me, I feel like that would be better. I would much rather
1/50th of a level 10 Great Hall. Okay. You're talking about thousands and thousands of gems to get 1 to level 10. Okay. Now you're talking. No, I'm not kidding. You're talking about 3 to 4 months of gems to max 1 Great Hall to 10. That's not worth it. No chance would you ever do that over spending 5,000 gems in 3x Savage. No chance. 3x speed, it would blow it out of the water.
I mean, yeah, okay. I still feel like I would rather, if the option.
The whole conversation is if the fragments are in tournaments, and the whole thing is, no, they don't affect free-to-play players that much. They don't affect low-spend players. Nobody is planning a fusion saying right from the beginning, I'm gonna win that tournament. That one right there, I'm winning that bitch. It's mine. Yeah, because you're a whale. Because you're a whale.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're literally a giant whale. You spent $1,000 on the Siffy 2x 10x. Don't even. Okay? Like, you are a whale through and through, borderline Kraken. Bro, come on. Be real with yourself.
I have a problem. Kenpachi, what do you think, man?
I forgot what we were talking about, man.
It's they're taking the points out of the tournaments. They're taking the fragments out of the points.
Those have always been kind of like, for me at least, it's always like that. Like, I screwed up or I fell asleep before finishing a dungeon dive or I need to win this tournament. Like I looked at that as more of like a last resort. Like thank God they have it because I'm gonna still be able to complete this type of thing. So in that sense, it stinks that it's gone, but yeah, like honestly, I've never planned, like as Nacho was saying, I've never planned my fusion around it. A fusion or fragment, like I figure you just got to do it all, man, and hope. Maybe you can skip some stuff at the end. That's kind of how I always do it. Just make sure you get it done, and then skip whatever you can. That's how I do it, man.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I always liked it because it gave me, like you just said, it gives you that extra little bit of buffer. If you screw up on one event, you have something else, right? Ken, what do you think, man? As a free-to-play player, are you upset? Does it matter at all?
No, it doesn't matter for me. I never aim this tournament. Even I have a like good amount of the resources. There is always somebody bigger than you. Maybe he's a psychopath, Let's say you got a 50,000, which just happens like my previous tournament. Like, what we got last time?
Tatsu.
Yeah, Tatsu.
Yeah, Tatsu.
There was a one dude like 30,000 point on the day one or so stuff like that. Then on the like last day, there was a two guy at the 50,000, and one of them win by like 4,000 ahead. Nacho actually know this thing from the Krisk. He actually know this thing. Again, guys, like this is let's say I'm a spender money, let's say I'm a whale, stuff like that. This kind of tournament give me stress, man. Like let's say like I'm aiming the number one, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna, let's say I'm at the work or I'm sleeping, I need to set up my watch and to see that like is somebody trying to snipe me, stuff like that. To be honest, like I don't think this is fun content. The one thing I really want, I hope they are never go that way, Let's say we need 100 fragment, right, to get them. Let's say they are gonna give us 95 fragment. You are gonna get 5 from extra. So which means you have to win your tournament. I hope they are not gonna do like that. That will be bad. But right now they are removing this extra. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go to that extent because there's a lot of free-to-play players that would be highly upset. Yep. And, that's probably be the one way raid kills itself. But, yeah. Jay, what about you? What do you think, man?
I've gone for tons of fragment summons before, fusions and things like that. Never once that I was like, oh, I really need this specific fusion. I think in tournament to get the extra fragments. I think it's always nice to have it, like you said, as a buffer, but I never actually planned on it. Ever in a fusion planner or ever in my mind, I always just looked, okay, this is what we have, this is what I should do. It should always be an extra thing just in case, oops, I didn't get enough of here, maybe I should go for this. But it should never be something, that you should always strive for. Because you could always get sniped by the next person when, maybe you're at work or maybe you forget or you don't have it, you run out of energy, you miscounted. So it hurts, right, to put all that resources to go for extra when you could use it for something else and you just wasted and get sniped. So I think, that should be only for people who can spend. But for free-to-play, you should always just go for the normal stuff and not focus always trying to get first. Now, there's easy ones to try to get first sometimes, right? Like things like Classic Arena, things like Ice Golem. Not many people go too crazy on those. Fire Knight, Dragon, Spider. Good luck even winning those tournaments, right?
ETA.
Unless you have a lot. Yeah. So exactly, right? Those are some tournaments you can actually go for because not every single time someone's gonna go hard and go for first place. So I would just overall. Is it sad? Yeah, but I mean, this is just a common thing that's happening in Raid. We're seeing a little bit of points go up. People are saying it's harder. It's not always the case. I'm playing a free-to-play account, and I'm noticing some events and tournaments are actually not that hard because it's based on your account. And some stuff is really, I'm like, dang, that's a lot of points for free-to-play. But overall, it's just you just got to do what you can do, and just focus on doing what the game allows you based on where your account is and stuff like that. You don't have to go, get FOMO and I got to get first place just to get this fragment summon. So, just things like that. So it's a changing thing in raid, that we're adapting as players and as content creators, that things are moving in like more points. But at the same time, like I said before in the previous podcast, they're giving us more stuff than ever, right? Like if you just play, I know like Boozer and other people I'm watching, I'm like, how do they have more than 10 primal shards already? How many events are they like actually doing prism shards, like getting them for free? I'm like, wow, I couldn't even get one. Like how much, like, and it just goes to show you, if you're actually playing a lot and actually calculating your energy and efficiently, you can actually get this stuff during events. You just got to play, take the extra time. I know raid takes a long time, for most players, they don't want to spend 8 hours a day playing the game, but hey, you get what you pay for. So, you gotta put in the time.
Okay. Real quick, let me acknowledge some of the chat here. We got Auntie in the chat. Welcome. We got Ogre, who, is, I think, Nacho's #1 fan right there. We have Tiger Blood. Welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you for joining us. And we also have Oolong Tea. So, all right. Fusion's over. We'll revisit him in the next, couple of weeks. But I want to really talk about something that's been pissing me off lately, and that has been the response time in fixing any of these, we'll call it bugs, right? And it seems to be that Plarium really acts on things that really affect their bottom line a lot faster than anything else, right? For example, we had Nogdar, who literally, you were able to farm Sand Devils in, 10 seconds with any two,
5.
Yeah. It's stage 25, you were able to move right up, and it was just insane. That got hotfixed within hours after it was released. But then
it took an entire day. It took over 20 hours to hotfix that. So
fine, 20 hours. I'll give you that. I mean, from the time I found out what was going on, it literally had taken hours. But we have champions like Shu Zhen who's still not fixed.
Yes, she is. She is.
When did she fix it? When did they fix it?
Last week, dude. Do you even read the patch notes?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Don't complain.
Okay. No, I can still complain because it took almost 2 months to get her fixed.
The fuck it did. It took 2 weeks. She hasn't been in the game for 2 months, bro. Come on. Bro, she hasn't been in the game for 2 months, dude.
Bro, I have a video the day she lit. Like literally, it's been almost like a month and a half that she's been out. It's been a month and a half that she's been out.
Yeah, and she's been fixed for 2 weeks.
Okay. It's still Hydra. Let's talk about the cadaver.
That's not a bug. That's not a bug.
Okay. But things for them to fix in raid. The issues we're having when the player base brings them up, with the content creators bring it up. I feel like their response time to a lot of this is not where it should be, right? We just got finished with the cadaver nerf, and we told Plarium that, and Jay, along with Gestal and Kempachi will back me up on this. The content creators are pissed. There's, we have arguments between ourselves sometimes because of how bad this situation is. And, it just feels like they're not doing things proactively to fix them, and that they're not, they're taking their sweet time on anything that is being given out, as opposed to kind of acting quick on it unless it affects their bottom line. Do you guys think I'm wrong in feeling that? And both myself and some of the community I've had conversations with, they're just kind of like, they're done with it, and they feel like it's not worth it even to complain anymore. Let's go ahead with, I'm going to save Nacho to the end, but Kempachi, let's go with you first.
I mean, their response time is super slow, I would like to say. Like, the one thing she is really bothering me, like, I still cannot forget that. On the Ashe Cyrilla interview, if you guys watched that, right? She said, Ashe asked the Cyrilla, where is the balance update? What happened now? And she said, the team is working on the balance update. Are moved to develop new champion. Are you that small company? Like, can't you just give like 2-3 person there to continue develop the balance update on the champion? Like, that's like, wait, what? That's why we didn't got balance update for very long time, because you guys doesn't have enough people working. I mean, maybe again, like maybe it's a war stuff. I actually don't know if it is a war stuff. Understandable, but she didn't mention anything about specifically war. So I'm like what's going on there? You know, like, and again, like some champion are bug. Emic was bug as well. I think I remember one of my viewer tried to build a Emic comp for the Clumbos and said, "Hey, bro, I built the Emic, but it doesn't working." And I feel like, bro, did you check your masters? Everything like that. He said, like, bro, I waste lots of gem stuff like that. Then Plarium sent a message on the Discord, guys. Emic is accidentally put your own champion skill on the cooldown, and he was super pissed. You know, like after he learned that, I think it took them like 2, maybe 3 weeks to fix that issue. And again, like, I really don't know. Like, I feel like is everything okay on the Plarium? I feel like they are getting a little bit smaller. That's what I'm feeling. But hopefully, is everything is fine. I love to play in this game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of bugs. I wasn't even thinking about the Emic one. They were quick to nerf the A1 before Emic was even released. But after he was released, it took him some time to deal with the actual, passive skill and stuff.
Yes, correct.
Gestal, what do you think?
I mean, I think if I had like a whole list of them, maybe it would look a lot worse to me and feel a lot worse.
I could write you out a list.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Oh yeah, like I'd have to maybe I could like remember them or whatever. I don't feel like it's like the worst thing in the world. Like obviously they make an insane amount of money. They should have top-notch employees, and they should be able to assign whatever the fix is to A, B, C, or D to get it done. I've never worked on a video game, but I've worked in like a development setting. It was a business development software, but I do know from the other end, if you're making one change, like you can't just be like, go do it. Like you really gotta think of how it's gonna affect different areas of the program, of the game. Like you can't, like it's not as easy as just fixing something. Some of the times it is, and hopefully most of the times it is, but it can be like a whole thing. Plus, I feel like they're a pretty big company. I think they have 4,000 employees. So like when you have that many people, you're gonna have middle management, you're gonna have upper management, it's gonna have to go through like a couple different hands before something actually happens. So it could be maybe that they're too big, and that's what slows the works down as well. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I do feel like, if there is, now I'm not saying balance updates. I'm saying like an issue with the game, like an issue with an ability or whatever it is, like a true bug. Those things they should be able to knock out pretty quickly. Those things should always be prioritized and make sure that the game's running stable as possible. But I don't think I don't feel like it's ever really been egregious. I tend to stay out of that whole CC chat. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a little timid, but people are getting pretty heated. I feel like in it. But those are typically the vocal ones that are getting heated. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple in there that have some really strong opinions, and rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah, no, I'm glad people do it. Make them push to do a better job. Like I don't have a problem with it. I just don't necessarily get involved with it.
Okay. Jay, what about yourself, man? What do you think?
I can see why a lot of people are heated, and not just in the CC chat or anything like that. Even people in comments, people left. We talked about this previously, and just like some changes. A lot of people are having to get new people in their clans, and just keeping people playing the game, stuff like that. In general, yes, I do feel like there is a small case when it affects the game super hard, right? Like Nogdar or maybe a balance. They can't just release. They were releasing decent every month. They were releasing like two champion balance, and then it stopped all of a sudden, right? There were no. I don't know if that's because it was affecting like Arrow was a really good balance, but then it really made it hard. Like Arrow started just screwing over people like a mid game, and then like in Doom Tower, Angar's really. We know Angar's gonna get a buff eventually, but Angar's in Doom Tower, like when you get 100 floors and up, that guy's annoying, especially when there's Valkyries too. You can get perma provoked forever. So they're always trying to figure out, making sure it doesn't ruin some other part of the game. But I do feel like, yes, unless it's like the community is 100% like just all unified anger, like this needs to be changed, then they'll change it. They're like, ooh, this is gonna hurt us monetarily and just as a community. Or if it breaks the game, right, like Nogdar. But if it's not too crazy breaking, or if it's something we're dealing with as players, either late or end game, they're kind of like, hey, that's the game. Like, that's the meta, or that's what's happening. We can't just adjust everything for you because that's what you're experiencing. If the game is still working, it's working, right? But then there's also this little side where it might also be monetarily as well. I mean, they got hurt a lot last year, so maybe they're making up. We've seen a lot of stuff that's come out, right? Prism shards, mythical champions, blessings being sold in shops, more packs, things like that. So yeah, there's a little bit of that. I think just for them right now, I don't think it's Hydra Clash or what we're as players experiencing it. People want to spend lots of silver of their time building these teams, and then they're like, dang, I can't be number one. They want it to be slightly fair, but we've just seen how crazy what you need in terms of empowerment, in terms of how many voids you need and stuff like that. And people are just like, I gotta nerf everything, nerf this, nerf. And nerfing everything is not gonna fix anything, because then if you nerf this, you have to nerf this champion. And if you nerf this, you have to. It's just a whole, and it's like crazy when you see, content creators talking. I'm like, I start to ask myself, do you even play the game? Like I that's why I always say it, right? Do you even play Raid? Because like it's not enough. That's not the problem. There's another problem to the game, but whatever. And then Plarium, this I think that they haven't really gone and addressed it, right? They haven't like hardcore. They might listen and look, but they're always looking at analytics and seeing what things are going. And when it really is there, they will change it, right? They eventually do, which is pretty good. Most companies, they could just be like, no, screw you guys. We're never going to focus on that. Now, some things, I know this long, but the last part, they do listen to a lot. I said this before, I think in the 2 podcasts before, when people were having trouble with Bomb, what did they do? They gave us bomb champions. Right? People were having trouble with Spider or they were noticing people didn't have enough burners. What did they give us? Artac. People having trouble with Stoneskin. People are complaining. Stoneskin's OP. I was telling people using Drissi, use decreased duration buff champions. What did they give us? Wukong. So clearly they're listening. Huh?
Hard Fire Knight, G-Nut.
Right, yeah. They gave us exactly Hard Fire Knight. People were having trouble there, saying, "Oh my God, you need everybody in Savage. For Hard Fire Knight 10, you need to have everyone in these insane gears, insane speeds." What do they give us? Newt, right? So like, they listen. So I don't really. I understand they don't listen to everything or give us what we want, but it's not our game, right? Like we have to give them critical feedback that can help make the game better. But if there's like a big solution, like a big clan or Super Kraken or Cthulhu's, that's something that like unfortunately is just a part of Raid that we have to deal with. It's kind of like points slowly going up. We can't control that. That's just something that's gonna happen. I can't complain. There's millionaires out there, and I barely make less than 50,000. I don't complain. I just try to get better. I try to get smarter. I try to adapt, and that's the one thing I think players need to help Plarium understand, and I think then they'll come back and be like, okay, cool, you're right. Let's fix this in the game instead of just complaining all the time. That's not gonna do anything for Raid. So,
yeah, I like I said, I think my bigger issue is more of the response time. Like when it becomes more of just wallet versus quality of life, like actually fixing things, that's where it kind of bugs me more. Like I feel like it's just more about and again, it's not bashing the company and saying that they're awful at it. I just feel like we need to get a little more of a turnaround on fixing some of the issues. But Nacho, let's hear it.
All right. So there are 3 main types of game fixes that you will see in modern gaming. Hot fixes, cold fixes, and patches. Okay, so hot fixes require short restarts of the server, which you see quite frequently. That's that we're going down for 10 minutes, we'll be back. Cold fixes don't require a restart whatsoever. It's a fix that they can just put into the game. Okay, they don't need to do any interaction with the server. A patch takes a full reset of the whole server. So it's very similar to a hotfix, but they're introducing a bigger piece of the content, so it may take like an hour instead, right? So it acts very similar to a hotfix. So these are the three main patches that almost every single game in existence goes through at this point in gaming. Okay, the next thing that there's to discuss is console or mobile verification time. Okay, so to introduce a actual patch into Diablo 4, for instance, takes 2 weeks. You cannot, that's after it's been developed. Okay, it takes 2 weeks to go through console authorization to make sure that patch goes in. So there is some form of that goes on. It may not be 2 weeks. I don't know what the time is. It's probably less than that, but we don't know what that time is. That they have to go through for Apple and for Google and any other mobile devices that are in existence, okay? And now for all of these platforms as well, you have to create a different code. Okay, so now you're talking about creating anywhere between 3 to 6 different versions of the game. Okay, this is not one version of the game we're talking about anymore. Okay, because what you write on Linux does not work on Windows. Okay, there are phones that operate on this that don't operate on that. Okay, and there's a certain amount of those that you still want to include in your customer base. So you have to create completely new versions of the game, albeit very similar in a lot of aspects, maybe your visual aspects, but a lot of your other stuff is not the same. Okay, so next, like Gestal touched on, you have things like middle management, upper management, your art team. You have several different teams that are designing each part of the game, right? So maybe for a mechanical fix, there's also a visual fix that they need to fix. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a visual issue that's going on as well. Maybe the champion's ending in the wrong spot, like Burengiri would push Bombo back to the back of the room forever. You know, and I don't know if he still does it or whatever, but
Invisible veil.
yeah. The veils that you can't see. So there's a lot of work that goes into introducing a patch into a game that most people have no idea exists. Okay, so that's step 1. Okay, step 2 is understanding what design focus you actually want in your game. In the case of Corpulent, okay, so Nogdar, we'll just start with Nogdar. They fixed him rather fast because it was one champion's interaction with one boss. Okay, Emic's interaction, and that took 20 hours, roughly, give or take. I know people that farmed that literally all day. I got enough to ascend 1 piece of gear. Or 2 pieces of gear, whatever it was. It wasn't a whole lot. So in that case, it didn't take very much of that for them to introduce the hotfix for every console to fix Noctart, right? Emic's interaction, however, was with every single champion in the game. It didn't matter who you put in Clan Boss, he would put their skills on cooldown. So, is it a problem with Emic? Is it a problem with Clan Boss? Is it a problem with something not in there at all? You know what I mean? These are things that take a lot of development time, and it may not be on every platform. So the issue may persist on Apple phones, but it may not persist on Windows phones. For issues like that, you know what I mean? I didn't have a single issue with Emic. I played on Plarium Play. I never had one issue the whole time. So, you know what I mean? Some people may have the bug, some people may not. And again, that goes into the diagnostics and why people need to file reports for game bugs. Like, if you don't file them, they don't understand the circumstances in which it happened. That's why they need these reports, okay? So when we look at Baldur's Gate 3 with turnaround and actual patches, which is actually regarded as potentially the greatest RPG released in all time, and is one of the greatest games to be released in the last 5 years. It very potentially will win Game of the Year, things of that nature. Anyways, the very first patch, and this is a game that is only, like, you have it's a one shot thing. Like you start and you finish. There's no end game loop to it. There's no continuous thing going on with your game. Okay, it's a save file and you can play the save file. That's it. Okay, there's not a whole lot of interaction that is doing with other people. Somebody else can join your game, but they can only play a player that's in that game. They can't bring their character from their game into your game. That game had 1,100 patches in the first patch. 1,100 bugs fixed. Okay?
Let me stop you right there.
And it took 3 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks.
But they were consistently working on them.
Okay,
right?
But this is what I'm saying. But think of how many less interactions any one of those bugs had with the game. That's the difference. Okay, so to have turnaround time that is extremely fast is unrealistic. You look at Diablo 4, any patch that goes live, they're going to have a repatch of the patch. Same with World of Warcraft, same with RuneScape, same with damn near any live service game, Final Fantasy XIV, they will repatch a patch. Almost always within the first week of releasing it. If not the first 2.
Yes, but
guaranteed.
Raid is not being re-released all the time. We get a patch every couple of months with some updates. You know, we get a new champion every month for a fusion. But I mean,
all the time. That's what you're saying. In the Trunda and Corpulent conversation isn't a bug.
No,
it's
but that's
balance change. You know, we have very few bugs within the game right now. So if you want to change balance within the game, that's not your decision to say that this is balanced or not.
Right. I'm not arguing the balance. The balance part's going to come next. Right.
Well, your first argument is was Corpulent and Nogdar. Those are your 2 main arguments for this conversation.
Well, Nogdar was an actual bug, right?
Right.
So was Emek. And I feel like, you know, they waited weeks. Shuzhen was the same thing, right?
How do you know they waited weeks? There's all kinds of testing and authorization that goes into putting a patch in like that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So
hold on. I'm going to stop you right there.
Like, you guys.
Testing. You're telling me they tested Shuzhen and didn't see that she actually increases the turn meter? You're going to tell me that? You're going to tell me that they actually tested it and they didn't see that it increases the turn meter, or did they just push it out there?
Gestal, how many times did you release a patch for your website and it didn't work as you thought it would? I'm sorry. Reverse of that. How many patches did you release that actually worked as intended?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I somewhat agree with the testing side of things. Like, there's certain things that get through that, you know, a big company like Plarium, you would expect, you know, they probably have a fairly good QA department, and some stuff gets through, you're like, wow. But it happens, man. It happens. Like, you can't think of everything. You can't think of how 100,000 different people are gonna try to do something. You're never gonna be able to think about people are freaking smart, man. They come up with crazy stuff, like crazy ways to break stuff. So it's
and I'm not arguing the fact that we have a community that thinks outside the box, right? We have a community here that we will come up with some crazy stuff. But again, back to the point, can you sit here and tell me that they actually tested Shuzhen and she was working as intended, and then once the patch got released, then it was broken?
Can I say something real quick now?
Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
I mean, I totally agree with the Nacho for, first of all, like everything he said, like game developer stuff, like we don't know too many things about them guys. Like I'm pretty sure it's a hard thing. It's not that easy what we are thinking. But what is the test server for? There is literally content creator going on the test server to test the content before they release it. Like the rest of the champion, actually there was a couple of them. Their name is not coming to my mind, but let me tell you one of them, Fortus. I remember content creator test on the Fortus, and I feel like it was scratch. He said Guys, there is something wrong on his multiplier. What happened? They released a Fortus exactly same on the live server. They made a guarantee event on that Fortus. They said we are gonna buff it, but we didn't see what kind of buff that Fortus gonna be get. So I feel like, oh man, let me get him. Plarium gonna buff him, right? He must be good. He's a void legendary. How bad he can be. Then they buff him after the guarantee event is over. He's still garbage. And they are gonna buff him again in the future, right? It actually wasn't the buff. It just was fixed. But again, like test server, like Iron Twin, Paragon solo, Cold Brew, I think, right? It was Cold Brew.
Yeah.
Cold Brew released a video. Paragon solo, Iron Twin released it. I tried with the Iron Twin, which is it's gonna take you 2 weeks to reach this stage 15 because we are seeing like different affinity, right? You can only use like 6k. No, you can use like 6k. If you spend 150 energy, you can get 12k. Again, there is a stage 25, so even you spend gem, it's gonna take you 2 weeks. I spent my gem. I tried to reach that stage 25 ASAP, right? I tried everything, man. I cannot beat anything above stage 23. I wasn't a Geomancer, like people was using Geomancer. Then I watched the Cold Brew video. After 2 weeks, by the way, this content release. I mean, a little bit slow, but he can do it, like I'm okay with that. I'm only gonna use the 6k. Let me build the Paragon. I build the Paragon, I book him, actually not issue, it's a rare champion. I bought the masters for him. And after 1 day, Plarium, we are gonna nerf him. Like, isn't the test server for that, like, same thing happened again. Happened on the how to say Phantom? No, not Phantom. Phantom Shogun. Phantom Shogun. They changed this boss ability a couple of times, right? On the test server, he was targeting the Stone Skin champion, right? They fixed it on the live server, I believe, and they also changed his something again, which is I don't remember. Maybe you guys can help me there.
They changed his enfeebled. You can block the spread now.
Yeah. Again,
but they've only done 2 or 3 patches.
For example, like on my chat, like I recommended people, guys, like don't build a champion, don't build a team by looking the video from test server because most of them are not working. Oh, by the way, Far Knight. Bro, test server Far Knight was 100 speed lower than live server. You see, people are build a team by looking the not great video, like stuff like, oh, it's not that hard, like they copy exactly the same stat, and it's not working. Why? Because boss get 100 speed from nowhere. Like, I mean, this kind of stuff, like, isn't that test server for like content creators doing their best to find these bugs, stuff like that, not working correct stuff, but why we are still getting them on the live server? It looks weird. Look, if you don't have enough time to fix this content, just delay the content. Say that, guys, there's some fixes. We are not going to release them yet. Let them fix it. After that, we are going to release them, like.
So the only problem I have with your argument is that you're using sides of the coin for your same argument. So in Fire Knight's instance, the Fire Knight was 150 speed. They used the test server information to say that wasn't fast enough and made the boss faster. And then you're saying that because they didn't take the Paragon information and changed it later, that's a bad thing? So what should they do?
No, I agree with the whole Paragon thing because look, content creators went out there, they pushed.
Which they waited after they made the announcement, they did wait another month or 2 weeks before they made the nerf. They didn't just nerf it.
Okay, but the fact is, it was released that way. People went out, spent resources. And if we're talking about free-to-play players, some of them are not going to have those kind of resources, right? So people went out, spent, got it done. And then after they got it done, guess what? Now they're at stage 25. But they have no other way to farm that content.
There's only 15 stages of Iron Twins, by the way.
Right, okay, whatever. Stage 15, right? After they got to stage 15, they can't farm it anymore because the one team they had was gone. So why put it, how is it fair to those players?
When are they allowed to make design choice decisions is the ultimate question here.
I think Listen,
after something gets released, are they ever allowed to change the design philosophy for that content? That's the ultimate question. Because that's what they've done here. That's what they do with Hydra right now.
That's not what they've done, because they've been...
That's exactly what they did.
They have content creators in the program, okay, that go in, that come up with these comps. Some of their communities go to extent of like theory crafting all of this stuff for the content creators to try out. They put it out there. They show that it's not working as intended. It still gets released. People go out there, spend the resources, build them. Forget the whales, right? Forget the whales. But people go out there that are free to play, spend the resources, build this stuff, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, it gets nerfed, and now they're back to where they were before. That's exactly my
point, though. When are they allowed to change design philosophy?
It should be. It should be. If we're talking about how much breathing room would I give them, no more than maybe after the content is released, a week.
Okay, so Cadaver never gets a nerf then. Hydra should never have been patched after release. Never once changed. Hydra class came out, don't change it. Doesn't matter.
Actually, like before the Hydra clash released, from the content creator chat, people was talking about Turanda.
Yep.
Like multiplier from Hard and the Nightmare is not huge. People are gonna abuse their Turanda on the Hard team. Trust me, content creator, how to say that, did their like best to try to warn the Plarium, but do you know what they did? They released 10x Turanda.
Yeah.
After the Hydra Crash released it. But after that, I think it was Victortes, correct me if I'm wrong. He tried this cadaver comp on the Hydra, and it did like insane stuff. Nobody was talking about cadaver by the way before that, before Clash released it. Everybody was talking about Turanda. But then Cadaver is doing way more damage than Turanda, and obviously everybody built the Cadaver, and Cadaver got the attention. But I said that if you are gonna nerf the Cadaver, nerf the Turanda with him, because nerfing Cadaver gonna create a new problem. Cadaver problem still exists. Just people are find a better
alternative
comp than Turanda. After you nerf this comp, of course people are coming back to Turanda, and this is what we are seeing right now. I said them a couple of weeks ago. I said them, hey guys, can we skip that part? Can we skip like people gonna share their best damage on the Turanda? Every week we are gonna say another personal world record, stuff like that. We skip that part, and the nerfer already. Like, by the way, speaking of the nerfer, I'm not talking about Turanda specific nerf. I'm talking about like give the Hydra a passive skill, something like that. Nerf everything. Like literally nerf everything. Like, not sure, by the way, I don't even have a Turanda, bro. Like, can you please tell me what is the maximum damage you saw from her single damage hit on the hard difficulty?
So on a living head, 6 million. 6 million. I've hit 18 million on a decapitated head.
18 million.
Plus you get hex damage of 10% of that. So I would deal 1.8 million splash. Yeah, so like if you deal 18 million on a decapitated head and a living head has hex, you deal 1.8 million to that head. It's dead. It doesn't matter what head it is unless it's suffering. It's dead on the spot. So she kills everything, and it doesn't need to crit either. Like it's just the hex splash kills her. You know, so it's bug. But again, the whole point is like, so when are you allowed to change design philosophies for content?
I think if there are bugs or issues like that,
it's not a bug.
Okay,
it's not a bug.
It's not a bug. It's not a bug. I'll give you that. I think anything longer than a week is too much.
Hydra's been out for 2 years, so Hydra should never change.
No, I'm not saying Hydra. The thing is, this
is the problem here. This is what I'm saying though. So they can change their design philosophy on Paragon late because it didn't align with their goals on Iron Twins. Okay, if Paragon can do it in 10 minutes, maybe they're okay with that. But now people are figuring out faster unkillable teams, and people are doing it really fast, really cheap, and they aren't okay with that. They're allowed to change that design philosophy now. Okay.
Yeah.
To ignore unkillable. But guess what? Now we have Emic in the situation using unkillable, doing the boss anyways.
Right. Okay? And that's because Emic is built specifically for that. I mean, you can't just Emic needs to be built with like 70, 80k HP, really tanky to do it.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He dies at the end, and Cold Heart kills the boss. It requires nothing
Not
else.
not on the comps that I run, but
Okay, I have run the team on my account, dude.
I
So
know.
Any-
I did a showcase on it. I'm telling you, the way I run it, he never dies. But what I'm trying to say is, if there's an issue with something new, okay, I guess maybe that's what we should do. What we should say is, if they release a new champion and there's an issue with it, right, because of design flaw or whatever, I think anything over a week should, is too much time. Because
do you know how many? Do you know how many So this is again the design space thing.
It's a multi-billion-dollar company, bro. It's a multi-billion-dollar company.
Doesn't matter. That doesn't mean they have
no way.
That doesn't mean that they're paying these people millions of dollars to develop things. Okay, game devs don't make that much fucking money, dude.
I know. But what I'm trying to explain, like there is no excuse. Have a bigger team. If you're a multi-billion-dollar company, there is no excuse.
How do you know that's worth? How do you know these business expenses are worth things long term? Okay, Plarium produces more than just Raid. Okay,
True. Right.
That's why they are a multi-billion-dollar company.
No, just Raid itself is a multi-billion-dollar game. Hell, Hades did a video
over
the 4 years.
Yes,
over the 4 years. Yeah,
over the years, it's made billions, but they also put out millions and millions and over $1 billion in expenses. Okay, like, you don't understand their cost analysis on how to make the game last 15
You just
fucking
told
years.
me that game devs get paid shit. Just hire more.
That's not how it works, dude. Okay, like even if you have 10 devs, that only compounds the issue. You have devs that need to communicate with other devs to make sure the code works appropriately. This is what I'm saying. You do not understand the development web to make a big game work at all, and it's very obvious.
Look. I played World of Warcraft when issues like this came up.
Playing it doesn't mean anything.
No. I played World of Warcraft for 10 years. When issues like that, the servers would go down week to week and things would be fixed, right? Every Tuesday, that server was going down for a certain amount of hours, whatever. If there were issues, they were going to try to patch them. They were going to try to fix them that day, right?
And it didn't always work.
Sometimes it didn't.
But always work.
They always
point.
The thing is, they always address the issues as quickly as possible. And
so does Plarium, my guy.
No,
they fixed Shuzen in 3 weeks. They fixed Emic in a month. Like
Shuzen was not 3 weeks. I'm gonna go back to the day that video I released and look at exactly how much time it is. It was not 3 weeks because people were pissed. It was over a month. I know that much. It was like
you don't even know when she got patched. Okay. You don't even know when she got fucking patched. All right, my guy. So again, it goes back to when are they allowed to change content?
If a new issue arises, I think 1 week. Go ahead, Jay. Jay's just sitting in the corner, like being all quiet, like mommy and daddy are fighting.
I think this just showcases that, where sometimes the community will be like, hey, look, they don't listen. No, I think they're listening. I don't think they take the priority that we want them to. And they only take priority, as we've been talking about in this podcast, in this stream, when certain things happen, right? Either it needs to be fixed immediately, or if it's going to hurt their bottom line, or if it's making people leave, or it's making, then it becomes serious, right, for the game. And I think this is just showcases that when it comes to test servers, when it comes to feedback, I know we've been talking about that word for 4 years because I know, trust me, I've seen all the ups and downs of Raid. They've gotten a lot better at watching what the community does and trying to help. But when it comes to specific matters, if it doesn't fall under those 3 categories, they're not going to take it as a high priority. Even though we would want them to, they don't. And I think it's up. Maybe it's just up for up to the community for us to gather more people instead of it more like hate or anger. It should be more of a voted thing and be like, hey, look, and show them. Are you actually looking at this analysis? Look how many players are complaining about this, and give them solutions and then I think feedback, right? They take that in, and then we can get things fixed in the game. Compared to it just back and forth, and they're just. I feel sorry sometimes when I think of Banana or Ace having to read all that stuff, and I'm like, geez, that's a lot of fucking random craziness. Some stuff I had to personally like, because I was gonna go hard. I was like, you know what? Let me just. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, right? So I just stay quiet and watch in the back, kind of like what I'm doing here. But overall, I think hopefully in the next year, right, coming this big patch in 2024, the beginning of the year, hopefully they'll address a lot of these issues we're talking about, and hopefully not just rebalances, but as a whole, because there's still the Taras Marishka thing that people can go over. There's the Hydra Clash thing that people will talk about. There's things that people say the raids getting boring. Like there's a lot of topics we can definitely go on. But in terms of when can Plarium get enough time, I think first they should come to us. Be like within the first week, hey, we're releasing this. What do you guys think? Test it out. Okay. After a week, did you find any bugs? Blah, blah, blah. Let's release into live servers. Then they can still contact us, or if they want to do tier 3s, hey, do you see anything we've released into their live? As your community's talking about anything happening with this? What's going on with this? They take that feedback, then give it back. When they do their announcements in the Discord, let people know, hey, we're adjusting this because of this information, boom, 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 and then to be a lot better. But when they go kind of like ghost, and it only comes out when, they want to do it, it kind of gives like a weird light, and this is where, conversations like this happen. So hopefully they do a little bit better.
Yeah. All right. So mom and dad are done arguing today for this subject, but real quick, let me acknowledge some of the chat. We do have Battle with us. We do have Mr. Mo. Thank you guys for joining us. All right. So let's talk about Hydro Clash real quick, right? And again, they nerfed Cadaver like 2 months after almost, right? And we know that we know that there's still an issue, right? And the bigger issue is the double Yumikos. And they've been told to death that is the issue. And yet nothing still happens. I asked you guys to come up with one suggestion of how Hydro Clash could be fixed without nerfing, without, killing the game mode. Let's go with Gestal first. What will you suggest that they could do to fix Hydro Clash?
What could they do to fix Hydra Clash? I didn't know we had to come up with one answer there. Was that in the notes?
Yep, that was the last one. All right, I'll skip you. I'll give you some time to think.
Man.
Let's go to Kempachi.
Still Nachos because he said it earlier. I can't use that. Let Nacho use it.
We'll come back to you. Let's go Kempachi. What about you? What would be the one thing that they can introduce to fix it?
I mean, like, seriously, actually, it surprised me when they nerfed the Cadaver. They literally nerfed him. It's also surprised me. They didn't nerf Paragon. They nerfed the all unkillable champion for the Iron to win. But block damage champion working exactly the same, right? It was weird. Like, they should be nerfed the Paragon instead. In this area, they need to nerf the Paragon. In this area, they need to add Hydra heads a new passive skill. That's all. Like, passive skill. I'm just gonna explain. Very simple, guys. Obviously, passive skill. Not gonna tell you like that, but there is no champion in this freaking game cannot one-shot me. Done. Literally done. Cadaver gone. Tranda gonna get big nerf. It's not gonna be enough, so that's not gonna be enough passive skill to be honest. So instead of that passive skill, they should be need at their like damage reduction. Not damage reduction, damage limit. There is an enemy max HP champion damage limit right now, right? When they release the dungeon stage 25, they think about that. They see that, because they have a big HP, they have a way higher HP. So they are like, oh, they are going to get a one shot from Septimus. We don't need that, right? They think about it. So, yes, this thing is working. Like champion like enemy max HP, Akrize, Uogo, not Uogo, Husk, Roagard, Gnat, we can't even use this champion on the hard difficulty or the normal difficulty because Boss has a low HP. But the thing is, they didn't take like Tranda, Hex, her A2 ability has some weird mechanic, which is this Tranda on the game, like, since the not release, the Dwarf actually wasn't there, but like more than 4 year, maybe.
Yeah, she's
more
been
than
like 3.5,
years.
three and a half years. Yeah.
So it wasn't an issue. Cadaver wasn't an issue. People was using Cadaver on the clan boss. Wasn't an issue. People are doing like what, 1 billion damage, 100 billion damage, 1 trillion damage on the clan boss. Nobody was care about them. Why people start caring about them? Because they give the competition. Like we are attacking each other. And if you lose Hydra, you are getting nothing. That's the thing. It's like a CVC. If you lose CVC, you are getting nothing, my friend. Like, instead of the give us nothing, maybe they need to give us at least one accessory for the lowest clan, number 5 clan, and number 4 clan, maybe 2 accessory that can be reduced to tension. But to be honest, like, very simple nerf. Give the Hydra hits passive skill, damage limit. Like, there is no single champion in this game can deal like more than 6 million damage. There, Tranda is gone, Cadaver is gone, stuff like that. 5 million damage. I actually don't know, like, they can detail it. I just give them idea, Without touching the Tranda or the Yumeko. That's gonna fix the issue.
Okay, so your suggestion is cap the amount of damage to a certain percentage of whatever the head is.
Yeah.
Damage reduction. Okay, I'm cool with that, actually. I feel like that kind of levels off a little more, even though, enemy max HP hitters can only be 10%. Maybe, a Trenda can be 12, 13%, still not one-shotting the heads, but won't be too insane, right? Because she can give some raw damage. Let's go with Nacho.
So I'm for the cap, but you have to do like 50%, 70%, something like that. Like, my salad on hard hits 35% on this A1, dude. Like, you're gonna tell me every champion can get nerfed like that? The problem right now is definitely the proportion of points again. Like, it's the biggest issue. You can't take away people's big numbers though. Like, people love seeing hitting 3 million with a turbolt on a decapitated head. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? You can't take away a certain amount of that. But champions that are doing a lot of the busted things are just single hitters. You know what I mean? If you can at least, like, if you make a 50%, you have to have a 2-hitter. You know what I mean? If you make a 35%, you have to have a 3-hitter to kill the head. So something along that's would be really cool. But other than that, really the only viable solution I can see is the point system that Victor Tez said like way long ago. Like, if you don't want to change your design philosophies for the content, which is what this boils down to, like, do they want this type of team in Hydra? Like, straight up, do they want teams doing insane numbers? I could show you a Madman doing 400 million as well, another rare. So, people are going to find things that are absolutely busted over and over and over and over again in the game. It's like, you're better off just going with the point system. The top guy gets 2,000 points, the next guy gets 1980, the next guy gets 1960. You know what I mean? So you're still incentivized to score the highest in your group among all the keys, but your weight of your key ends up being less. That's the only really other approaches you can have is changing the balance of the points, and you can't do it by difficulty. The Shuzen's made this able to be done on Nightmare now. That's why people have finally made it that far. Before Shuzen was released, you were going to be hard pressed to do it on Brutal. People had completed 1 keys on Nightmare and Brutal before, but not 1,500 turns. Going 1,500 turns with the double Yumiko team on Nightmare was nigh impossible. But now you have Shuzen that just gives her instant turn. So you can build her 0 speed and as much damage as possible, and you need the 6-star Awakening for the extra Savage set. So, like, the requirements are still pretty high. So at a certain point, it's like, when do the whales just win? Like, because they're going to kick your ass either way. This dude is going to beat you. It doesn't matter, okay? All right,
give him this team, give him his next best. This dude is gonna beat you. Okay, so just make it a point system. Like this is the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Where are you pointing? Because above you on the camera is Nacho. It's Kenpachi.
Whatever, it's over there.
Oh, okay. You're pointing at me?
Your big team you're showing, like on the stream.
Yeah.
Smart ass
I know.
Come on now.
All right. So Nachos is, let's deal with the point system. Okay. Jay, I know this hasn't, been a big thing for you, but what about you, man? What do you think would fix this?
Yeah, there's a few things. So we still have two more Hydra heads, two more Hydra heads and two more difficulties, which is crazy. Because that just blows my mind. Like, we've only had Nightmare and Ultra Nightmares for Clan Boss. We're gonna have an Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. Is there gonna be an actual? Are they gonna follow through or just say no? We're not gonna have that second difficulty and only have Ultra Nightmare Hydra, right? Or they're gonna actually go to whole nother difficulty. Now that's one thing to address. Two, I like the fact that like, I wouldn't say nerfing like comps. Don't ever touch champions, in my opinion. They always want to buff. I like that Plarium always does that, unless they really need to. The damage cap, that sounds pretty good, right? But I don't think they should just immediately put that for everybody, right? What if some, like a mid-late game player likes to abuse hard? Let them do it. But it's when you get to like Brutal and Nightmare, and you see these big ass like clans doing some nasty numbers, you're like, I can't even compete. Not even close, right? That's where I think the problem is, where people are arguing and going back and forth. Maybe this new cap should be on the harder difficulties and then eventually, once we're doing Ultra Nightmare or whatever difficulties come out, they should now give more rewards for Brutal and Nightmare. So when the people catch up, right? Because not everybody's where we are. Some people can't even do Brutal. Most people can do Brutal now, right? Because of new champions and stuff like that. New fragment summons like Islin. I'm using Wukong and Nightmare. Who would have thought, right? And I'm using them. So, I just think eventually towards the future, they need to, slowly add new things to help this situation. This is a temporary thing we're dealing with as content creators or just high-end end-game players, but for people to want to keep pushing Hydra like mid to late and they want to go, okay, I want to do it now, and I have a chance, I think that should be something like a damage cap should be something towards harder difficulties, especially Nightmare and up. And I think easy to Brutal should not, personally. And then in terms of like giving people more stuff, that's another big thing I hear from a lot of people. YouTube comments, in the communities, in people's discords. People are like, bro, I tried. I didn't get nothing. It feels horrible when you spend so much time and you get nada. Like not even like a. So I think maybe instead of top 3, why can't it be top 10? Why can't it be top 6? Right? It doesn't always, not everything has to be always top 3. So that's me personally. What I would change, I would let Plarium know as players who have played that could be, because we already know there's big clans, right? We already know what IPR, SP, Gods and Legends, Mad. Like there's a lot of clans, and there's some clans that just go crazy. They just have too much. You can't even comprehend how much they actually have spent or invested into their accounts, and it's just hard. I don't even have a Yumeko. Imagine having 2. Like it just blows my mind. So but yeah, like I would personally tell Plarium that I think those would be some really good changes, kind of like what Nacho and FinalKenpachi and what some other people have said. Just in general, as a whole, put them all together, and they can use this feedback towards the newer difficulties, right? And honestly, I wouldn't be against any of it. Honestly, I think all of it's really good information that would changes to the game that would help out, right? It would balance out the early game to early to late, and it would balance out the people in the end game as well. Kind of like what they did with gear, right? When people thought, "Oh my God, it's over," Artifact Ascension is going to change. No, it was a great equalization. I know people who have accounts within 3 months that are already doing Fire Knight 10, right? And it took how long did it take me to get there? So it just goes to show, like, if you're willing to put the time in and you're min maxing things, you'll get there. Hopefully they'll take this feedback right from us and actually put it into Hydra Clash, because people want to get stuff. They don't want to sit there, spend an hour, and then go, oh man, we lost it because 2 of our clanmates didn't actually do Hydra Clash. We could have got at least 3rd, right? So I feel that pain. But hopefully they'll add some more, or they add a damage cap in general. And if they have anything Plarium wants to do themselves, hey, we're open to it. But at least let us know first before you do it to the game, right?
Okay. Gestal, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to steal the thunder previously, but I mean, it's stuff that's been discussed before. I always felt like not being able to one-shot the heads would have fixed the Culprit Cadaver issue. That would probably also fix the Trunda issue. So if you just make that a passive, whatever it is, I think that would basically probably nullify most of the issues. I could be wrong. I don't think the answer is in nerfing the champs. And I don't think they should have nerfed Culprit Cadaver. Honestly, I think they should have handled it a different way. And I'm with Kenpachi. I was surprised too. I really thought they were going to do something else because they didn't want to break, the Infinity Team for Demon Lord Clan Boss and those records. If they could have just prevented the heads from being one shot, I think that reduces a ton of stuff, including like the damage out or the point output, the damage output and stuff. And so I always thought that was going to be the fix. They were going to do some sort of passive or something to Hydra to basically prevent where the exploits are really being made. Now how they do that moving forward, now that they did nerf Culprit Cadaver, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they are going to go the route of the champions. I hope that's not the case. The double Yumi's, it seems kind of broken. More so because like Kymar can't do it, right? Like why does Yumi do it, but Kymar doesn't? It's essentially the same ability, and it does say like there's nothing really different in the description of the abilities. So I don't know. I hope they come up with a good fix. I'm all for the point system as well. I think that I've heard that plenty of times. I'd be for that as well. But I think they need to do it not to the champs. I think they need to do it to either the bosses or to the actual functionality of the game mode.
Okay. So myself, I mean, I'm with Victor Tez on this. The double Yumikos are an issue. And that's pretty much what kind of creates this whole thing, right? Most of the other comps that we came out with, even with the Corpulent Cadaver, could only do like 4-5 billion, right? Even when you were using Emic. But the double Yumikos is what really makes it change, right? So why not make it that we can't bring dupes, right? I think that's probably the easiest fix. Then you don't get these crazy, insane teams coming in doing 25 billion damage. You have Acrisias that are going to come in, and I mean, even a double Acrisia team, who was saying Ogre, only does like 400 million damage, right? Won't reach the cap. But this team allows them to just continuously reset themselves. And it's not fair to, again, nerf a champion or rebalance somebody like Yumiko, because that, being able to reset herself makes her valuable for other content in the game. But I think for something like this, just make sure that you can't bring in dupe champions. And I feel like that solves the issue. That solves any of these champions being able to come in and do ridiculous amount of damage. So you guys had lots of great ideas. And, I hope Plarium actually listens. But I know that we are running a little bit late with the show today. So let's do our shout outs. Kenpachi, who do you have for a shout out, sir?
I like to shout out Hillary Ann. She's also playing Raid Shadow Legends pretty often. Hillary, hello.
Hillary is a Twitch streamer, and I believe she's from Canada, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So make sure you guys go over and follow her on her channel. She is quite fun, and she does actually play some pretty good music. Makes me feel like I'm back in high school again. Gestal, what about you?
Shout out my man Archimelli, just started streaming about 10 days ago. He's been in the community forever. super cool guy, very smart at the game. Go over there, give him a follow on Twitch. Yeah, very knowledgeable. He'll be able to help you out. He does takeovers and stuff. So, Archimelli, go give him a follow on the Twitches, guys.
Okay. Nacho.
I am going to shout out Heinz Sauce, who just started streaming himself. He's starting to get into the late game and all that fun stuff. And he's a good, fun guy. So make sure you go give him a follow.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
Well, I'm gonna give my shout out to NachoPlays 50. You know, your boy here, because we're trying to get him into being an official content creator. And I'm not always on Twitch.tv, and you guys ever need help, Nacho will help you, man.
Yeah. We actually are trying very hard to put him in. We've all put recommendations in for him. He's filled out his application, so we'll keep pushing him, and then someday we can call this the official show of Raid Shadow Legends with all the content creators. But my shout out's actually going to go to Nick, who is a viewer, I believe, of all of our channels. And he recently quit Raid and just kind of said, you know what? Here's my account. I'm done. I'm walking away. And, I want to give him a shout out because he deserves it. He was great with the community. We all loved him. And I'll keep his account safe. We'll have it here in case he ever does decide to come back. So
are we talking about the greatest mid game player ever?
I thought that was Nacho.
No.
Wait, there was mid game. I skipped that. We skipped right over that.
You're probably BLAZIN. You're talking about Nick Gaming, right?
No, not Nick Gaming. He's a
Nick
viewer.
V. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Nick V. Okay.
Nick V. Yeah, he recently just quit, and he said he's kind of done. And I still talk to him every couple of days, and I actually pulled the Taras on his account literally like right after he quit. So now that account's got 3 Marichkas, a Taras, a Shuzhen, and he's like, yeah, I'm done. So, all right, guys, it has been a wonderful time. Thank you all for joining us. We have had a very much heated discussion on some subjects and a very much calm discussion on some other subjects, as we always do. Thank you again so much for joining us. And as always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and we'll catch you guys next time.